Okay, today we are going to start off with some of the basics of meiosis and what happens that leads up to actual meiosis. So everything that we're about to do today will not involve babies, will not involve sperm, will not involve egg. This is actually happening before sperm and egg are made. But as you all know, or should know, sperm and egg are gametes, and they are different than any other type of cell in your body. All of your cells are somatic, and they are diploid, with the exception of one kind, sperm and or egg, depending on your gender. So a few terms we did yesterday, and I just want to recap with you all. What is a somatic cell? It's a body cell. What is a gamete? It's a sex cell. What does it mean to be diploid? You have a full set of chromosomes. Now, I'm glad you all said that, because sometimes students will say diploid means 46. Does every creature on Earth have a diploid number of 46? The answer is no. So diploid is 2 chromosomes per pair. You have a full set of chromosomes in every cell. If I took a Jack's skin cell in the nucleus, 46 chromosomes, it's diploid. If I took a Sterling neuron from her brain, 46 chromosomes, all of her DNA. If I took a Helena osteocyte, which is a bone cell, has all of her DNA. Those are all body cells. On the AP biology exam, here's what they'll do. They'll say something like a skin cell or a blood cell or a brain cell. What you need to pick up on is, oh, those are body cells. That's somatic, that's diploid. That's why they're saying those things. That's how they present it. They won't tell you it's somatic. You need to figure it out. Brain cell, blood cell, skin cell, bone cell. I could go on and on. And then what does it mean to be haploid? You have half the total number of chromosomes. What is the human haploid number? 23. Okay, good. Now, your first term, hopefully you know this. What is a zygote? It is a fertilized what? It's a fertilized egg. How many cells is a zygote? 1 cell. A zygote is a result of a fusion between the sperm nuclei and the egg nuclei. 23 plus 23 equals 46 when it comes to humans. So if this was a sperm cell, and inside that sperm cell's nucleus, it is haploid. Here is an egg cell. And this is not to scale, by the way. In humans, the egg cell is the largest cell in the body. The sperm cell is the smallest cell in the body. If we wanted to go to scale, this would be to scale. That little guy. So we're not doing this to scale. Inside the egg cell of the nucleus of an egg cell would be haploid. And when you have a sperm fertilize an egg, the 2 nuclei come together. And what do you get when you have N plus N? 2N. So here is a zygote. 2N. And then you grow up, you develop into an embryo inside your mom's uterus, and then you develop into a fetus, and then you're born, and you're a baby, and then you're a child, and a teenager, then an adult, and da 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 da. Everything that we're going to be doing today is happening to all of you right now. You guys are of sexual maturity. If you wanted to have a kid, you probably could. I wouldn't recommend it in high school. Some of you don't even know what you're having for dinner yet. Imagine trying to take care of a kid. So yeah, you might want to hold off on that. But the point is, everything that we're doing today, there's no kids yet. There's no sex yet. There's not even going to be sperm and egg yet. This is everything that's happening in you before your gametes are even produced. You have to get there first, okay? So for our purposes today, I'm going to make up an organism. Our example creature will have 4 chromosomes. I'm not going to do a human because I don't feel like drawing 46 chromosomes every single time. 4 is going to be easy enough for us. So I'm going to make up a creature. It could be a fruit fly. Fruit flies have 4 chromosomes. We're going to have a mother creature and a father creature. So over here, we have the father. And the male symbol, you need to get used to, It's like a little circle with the diagonally pointing arrow. And then we're gonna have the mother. You have a little circle on top with a cross coming underneath it. That's the female symbol. Now, what is the diploid number of this made-up organism that we'll be using in the next 3 days? 4. Its diploid number is 4. So what is its haploid number? Very good. So how many chromosomes does this father have? 4. How many chromosomes did this father inherit from his mother? 2. So I'm going to represent these pink chromosomes are going to represent maternal chromosomes. Jack, you have 46 chromosomes. How many of those are maternal chromosomes? That's it. Half of all of our chromosomes came from mommy. The other half came from daddy. For this organism that we're making up, some of you boys will be a father one day. Half of your chromosomes, when you're an older adult, will still be half of those will still be from your mom. So in this case, we have 2 from mom, and the other 2 are going to be from dad. These are going to be called paternal chromosomes. I'm going to do the same thing over here with the mother. I'm just going to use red and blue. Same idea. Okay. So each of these organisms, the male and the female, have a total of 4 chromosomes. They inherited 2 from their mother, 2 from their father. 2 plus 2 is 4. That is why we have meiosis and sexual reproduction. If I can kind of go off the rails here a little bit, let's just say you had a sperm cell for a human that had 46 chromosomes, just like your somatic cells. You have an egg cell from a human female. It has 46 chromosomes inside of it, just like somatic cells. What's 46 plus 46? 92. Is that the appropriate number of chromosomes for a human? That's why we go through meiosis, because meiosis cuts down the number of chromosomes from total number to half the number. So instead of 46, humans have 23 in the sperm. Instead of 46 in the egg, we have 23. What's 23 plus 23? That's 46. That's why we do this. If your sperm cells and your egg cells were made the same way as every other cell in your body is, it's not going to turn out well. Meiosis is a reduction process. Hello? It's up to you. Okay. Now, your next term is these chromosomes. For instance, this pair right here, that pair. We have chromosome number 1 from mom. We have chromosome number 1 from dad. This forms a pair. This pair is called a homologous pair. Down here, we have chromosome number 2 from mom, and we have chromosome number 2 from dad. That also forms a homologous pair. So your next term is homologous pairs. You can call them homologs for short. Now in Latin, what does the prefix homo mean? It means the same. Hetero means different or opposite. Chromosomes from each parent pair off because they have similar size, bands, and traits. They're pretty much identical. In all of us, for humans, we have 23 pairs. in your first pair, chromosome number 1 from dad paired up with chromosome number 1 from mom. And this goes in our species from 1 all the way through 23. Your 23rd pair is your sex pair. The sex chromosome from your dad pairs up with the sex chromosome from your mom. If you're a female, you received an X from mom and X from dad. If you're a male, you received an X from mom, a Y from dad. They pair up because they're both sex chromosomes. They have sexual characteristics, reproductive characteristics. We have identified where certain traits are located on each chromosome. When you have Down syndrome, you have 3 chromosomes in your 21st pair. I'm going to teach you on Friday how that happens. But let's just say hypothetically for a moment, let's just pretend that right here, that little location on mom's chromosome is the gene for eye color. That means that on the number 1 chromosome from your father, it's going to have the same trait in the same location. We often have multiple copies of a trait. For instance, I inherited the blue-eyed trait from my mom and the green-eyed trait from my dad. Blue is dominant to green. That's why I have blue eyes. My dad is brunette. My mom is blonde. Typically in humans, brunette is dominant to blonde. So I have brown hair from my dad, but blue eyes from my mom. One trait is dominant over the other. These 2 chromosomes, chromosome number 1 from mom, number 1 from dad, they have the same size, they have the same banding patterns, they have the same genetics. So let's say hypothetically, Cadence, let's say on chromosome number 9 that you inherited from your mother, it has the shape of your nose. It has the nose shape trait, chromosome number 9. Which chromosome from your father is going to pair up with chromosome number 9 from your mother? Chromosome number 9 from dad. That's how this works. Chromosome 1 pairs with 1, 2 pairs with 2, 3 pairs with 3, 4 pairs with 4. For our species, this happens 23 times. For a dog, it happens 36 times. They have 36 pairs. Yes?
So if meiosis is to make haploids, would it happen in women after birth since they already have their eggs?
It is happening during birth, but your eggs are refined. And when you hit puberty, they're ready to go. Okay. All right. Now, these are all homologous pairs. So how many homologous pairs does each parent have? How many homologous pairs does each parent have here? 2 pairs. 1 pair there, 1 pair there. You see that? 2 pairs. 4 total chromosomes. Now, let's move forward. This is the same in mitosis as well. So in interphase, what happens during S phase? Anyone? Do you remember from last week? Zoe? The DNA replicates. And what do chromosomes form? Sister chromatids. That's what we're going to draw next. All right. I'll give you all a moment to catch up. What we now have is just the same chromosomes, but doubled. Nothing has changed. Whoops. You get that? They're calling you. They'll be on YouTube, okay? Okay. Now, let's get another term down here, guys. Yes or no? Do those two chromatids you see there, are they homologous? The pink one to the blue one? Yes. I mean, look what we had up here. Are those homologous? Yeah. So all they did is just double. Did that change the fact that they're a match? No, they just double each other. That doesn't change the fact that they're a match. However, don't highlight, just watch. What do you call that now that there's two of the same chromosome? That's a sister chromatid. What do you call this? Correct. Those are sister chromatids. What we call two homologous chromosomes that have now formed chromatids, we call these non-sister chromatids. This is in reference to each other, the pink one to the blue one. The pink one and the blue one are not sister chromatids. You have a sister chromatid here, that's one. You have a sister chromatid here, that's another. But when you compare them to each other, they're not sister chromatids. So we call them non-sister chromatids. It can be kind of confusing, but are they still homologous chromosomes? Yeah, they are. They're still a match. Okay. Now, the next thing, after this stage, after this point, meiotic, which is in reference to mitosis, events will occur and are not present in mitosis. So everything that we do from this point forward, you will not see in mitosis. What we're about to do does not happen in any somatic cell in your body. It doesn't happen in bone, nerves, blood, muscle, organs, any other type of tissue. What type of cells are these happening in? Before gametes. What do gametes come from? Germline cells. These are going to be, this is occurring in germline cells. Are germline cells somatic? Yes, they are. So what is their chromosome condition? They're diploid. But I want to make this very clear for all of you. If Jack injures his bone, like his kneecap in this Friday night's game, his bone cells will make more bone cells. That's what they do. If he tears his muscle, muscle cells make more muscle cells. Blood cells make more blood cells. Skin cells make more skin cells. Germline cells make gametes. That's their destiny. That's what they do. And they're the only type that do that. So I want to make it very clear for all of you that you all have 100 trillion body cells. Only one type does what we are doing from this point forward. And those are called germline cells. It's where your sperm and your egg come from. So let's do it. These non-sister chromatids are going to form something called a bivalent. A bivalent is when two non-sister chromatids move in very close proximity of each other. The word bivalent is a noun. It's not an action word. I say that because the next word I'm going to teach you is an action word, and you can sometimes get bivalent and synapses confused. I say this because I used to also be a biology student and it always got me confused. Which one's which? And I finally realized bivalent is a noun. It's just a thing. A noun is a person, place, or thing. The next one I'm going to teach you is a verb. It's an action thing. It's something that's happening. When two non-sister chromatids come together, really, really close, they're forming a bivalent. The next term is synapsis. They undergo synapsis. Synapsis is a verb. It's an action word. They touch each other. So a lot of you are at tables with two people. You could kind of say that you're forming a bivalent. But if Katie was to elbow Sterling, Katie touched Sterling, that is synapsis. They're touching. There's a difference between being really close and actually touching each other. The act of touching each other would be synapsis. Now, the next thing I want you guys to do is I just want you to sit back and watch and wait till I'm done because I need you to see what is happening here. So here's father. Just give yourself a little breather. Here's mother. Here we go. Okay, you see how those pairs, those non-sister chromatids, they're now really up on each other. They're touching each other. So they're forming a bivalent and they're undergoing synapsis. Synapsis is where they're touching each other. Bivalent is where they're really, really close. They're moving close to each other. This is something that you do not see in mitosis. This doesn't happen. This is only in meiosis. They're about to do something that exponentially increases genetic variation so that your offspring will be very, very different than the parents. The gene pool is still the same. You can only have what your parents gave you, but you can have a lot of mixing and matching of what your parents gave you to produce something entirely new. Ava, what's it called? Crossing over. Synapsis leads to crossing over. Guys, this one is big. Let's see how quick or how much some of you might know. Do single-celled bacteria have sex? No. Think about this. Your reproductive organs, your penises and vaginas are billions, maybe trillions of cells. How many cells is a bacteria? One. So they definitely don't have reproductive organs. So how do they reproduce them? Asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is basically mitosis. They can't do crossing over. So tell me if you know, what is really one of the only ways the bacteria can have genetic differences that they don't go through crossing over? Mutation. Mutations are super slow. I mean, painfully slow. It takes millions of years for mutations to actually show up. Crossing over, 1 generation. Happens very, very fast. What crossing over does, crossing over is the exchange of chromosomal components, which we call genes. Between homologous pairs. You have about 2 to 3 crossing over events per pair. And crossing over, here's the big one. Put a little star next to it. It exponentially increases genetic variation. Adam, you mind if I pick on you a little bit? Thanks for being a sport. Adam, what grade are you in? You were an 11th grader, so you're 16, turning 17 this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Would I be right in saying that sometime in the last 10 to 12 years of your time in school, have you had a crush on someone?
Probably.
Okay, everybody has. Well, there's a reason that you had a crush on person A and not person B. You have a mother and father, right? I mean, you wouldn't be here without them. There's a reason your parents chose each other and your dad didn't propose to what's her face and your mom didn't end up with whatever that guy was that she dated for a year. Your parents chose each other for reasons. They selected each other. Yes, Ava? Yeah. So this is all contingent on natural selection. Nature selects in favor of and against particular traits. If we were all the same, then really what's the point? As I said a few days ago, if Helena could die from getting the flu and we were not genetically diverse, if she got the flu and she dies, what happens to the rest of us? We get the flu and we die. But because of things like crossing over, we have I don't want to say infinite, but we have a tremendous amount of genetic diversity. Some of you might be dating someone here at Plant, or you might have been asked to go to homecoming dance or Plant. There's a reason why we say yes to this person for the dance and no to that person for the dance. We are different. Now, in the United States Bill of Rights, it says that we are all equal. That as far as your civil liberties are concerned. Sterling is allowed to attend public high school. No one can say, no, you can't show up unless you prove she's like a threat to us. You can walk into a public library and they can't kick you out unless you've like proven you're a threat. We all have the same rights. You all have the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, all those things. But biologically, are we equal? No way. We are not equal. Landers, you're a great guy. I think you probably dribble a basketball fairly well. If you were on a court with LeBron James, you would be destroyed. Jack, you play quarterback for Plant. I've never seen you play. I assume you're pretty good. But if we were playing a pickup game, I'm picking Tom Brady first. No offense. There are different levels of skill. There are different levels of intelligence. There's different levels of appearance. You know, you might, oh man, they're cute. They, not so much. There might be one person you like, the other person, we're all different. I'm taller than all of you. I'm different than you, but you might be smarter than me. You might be better at running than me or volleyball than me. We're all different. And so biologically, we have many, many, many variations. And nature will either select in favor of a trait or against a trait. That's what natural selection is all about. And the big mystery of life, people always wonder, why are we here? What do we do? That's philosophical. Why are we here? I can tell you in one word why we're here or what the purpose of life is for biology. One word, reproduce. That's the point. Not in high school. Don't do it now. You still have a long way to go. But the purpose of life is to pass on your genes. Well, how do you get there? You have to make it a sexual maturity age. That means you have to find food. You have to survive. You have to dodge predators. You have to dodge natural disasters and disease. You have to survive every single day. And then you might make it to sexual maturity. Now you have to not only stay alive every day, you have to find a mate. And then that mate has to choose you. When we get to evolution, I'm going to show you some videos of some birds. In the bird world, the males are colorful. The males sing songs. When you hear birds chirping, it's probably a male. You ever seen a male peacock? They're blue and green and yellow, have the amazing feathers. You know what a peahen looks like? She's gray. You ever see a male cardinal? Red, little black marks on the eyes, singing, has the crest. You know what a female cardinal looks like? Gray. The females don't have to look all nice and pretty. They're the ones that have to lay the eggs and, sit on the nest. The males are the ones that look incredible. And so in these videos I'll show you, see these males singing and dancing and chirping and trying to put on a show. And the females are like, nah, not interested. Have you ever seen lizards in your front yard doing little like push-up competitions? Some animals fight for a female. Some animals sing and dance for female. Lizards, they do push-ups. And I've seen two males doing push-ups at each other. The first one that gets intimidated and bows out, he's the loser. The female goes to the winner. That, every species has its own way. That's natural selection. We are not biologically the same. For those of you who know anything about football, if you think we are biologically the same, tell me how University of Alabama versus University of South Florida would turn out. We're not the same. We're not. Civically, we are. Biologically, no. Okay, so after the whole spiel, here we go. I want you guys to sit back, watch this first, and then you can draw. So up here, let me preface this. You see these sister chromatids are touching now? Here's what's going to happen after they're all done with their crossing over. Just watch, and then you can do right after I'm done. Well, the individual ones, the non-sister chromatids are touching. All right, we have mother. All right, here we go. Okay, look at that. Did they exchange parts? Yeah. This is how you can, this is happening in all of you. This is before sex. This is before the formation of sperm and egg. We're almost to the formation of sperm and egg, but we're not there yet. So this is happening in the parents. This is way before sex happens. This is way before fertilization happens. The chromosomes from your mother and the chromosomes from your father basically mix and match. And so this is how you can have your mother's eyes and your father's ears. Your mother's penicillin allergy and your father's short temper. You're a mix and a match of both of your parents' traits. This enhances genetic variation. I have my dad's hair and my mom's eyes. We're all mixing and matching. I had a student a long time ago, by long time ago, I mean 4 years ago, she said, how come Black people don't have blue eyes? I said, well, that's not entirely true. But to answer your question as to why you don't often see it, and how many of you have seen a Black person with blue eyes? Right. Is it common? No. But do you happen? Yeah, it does happen. But here's why it doesn't happen a lot. Blue eyes evolved in Scandinavia. That's where my ancestors are from. Vikings, Norway, Thor, all that stuff. Blue eyes did not evolve in Africa. Do you think blue eyes would do well in a place where the equator goes right through the continent? I have a little scooter, a little motorized scooter goes 20 miles an hour. When it's bright out, I'm afraid I'm going to crash because I can't see anything. I need my sunglasses. The point is, you can't have what you don't have. The student who asked it was an African-American. So like, how come Black people don't have black eyes? If the gene is not in your gene pool, you can't have it. Did I ride my Velociraptor to plant today? No. Do you know why, Caden? Why? It's kind of simple. I don't have a Velociraptor to ride to plant high school. I don't have the brown-eyed gene in my gene pool. I have blue eyes. Blue eyes are recessive to brown. The only way I can have blue eyes is if there were no brown-eyed trait to compete with it. So if I have a kid, I'm not giving brown eyes. It's not coming from me. Fiance is also blue-eyed, so pretty much guarantee of a blue-eyed kid. Now, we'll get into all of that in genetics next unit, and I think you'll really enjoy that. You'll probably figure out why you all look the way you look. But this is why, and this is how all of us are just basically a canvas, a mosaic of our parents. You have your mom's intelligence, but you have your dad's athleticism, things like that. So I'm just going to really quickly whip up the mother's chromosomes real fast, and then we'll move on and start to finish it up. Okay. So now we have new chromosomes. Are these chromosomes or chromatids, whichever? Do they look the same as they did when we started this? No, we have entirely new chromosomes now. If Jade traded sweaters with Helena and Helena traded shoes with Jade, they now have a new outfit. It's a different combination. You now have new chromosomes. Now, the last term I want to get to, then we're going to end the lesson for today, and we'll pick up exactly where we left off tomorrow, is independent assortment. If you have blonde hair, do you have to have blue eyes? Quinlan, do we? No, we don't. If you don't see, she has blonde hair, brown eyes. Jade, what color are your eyes? Blue. Hair color, eye color, peanut allergy, athleticism. Most of your traits are independent, which means most traits are inherited independently of other traits. There are very few traits that are actually linked. We call those linked genes. But the majority of the time, just because you have one feature doesn't mean you have to have a matching feature. There are blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids in this room. There's blonde-haired, brown-eyed kids in this room. There's brunette, brown-eyed kids in this room. There's brunette, blonde-eyed kids in this room. So we have many different traits. They're all unique. And most of your traits are independent of others, which means just because you inherited gene A doesn't mean you have to inherit gene B. They're all independent. Most of them are independent. There are a few exceptions. We'll get to that next unit. All right.